It's Brenda Miller. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Basking Ridge, New Jersey, and I go live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And I share with you some of the things that I'm working on, some of the things that are going on at Stampin' Up! And specials and classes too. So today I am featuring a card that is in my class my Stamp-A-Stack class that I am holding tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. And if you have any interest, check out my schedule. If you're local to New Jersey, I do this. This is an in-person class, and I wanted to share the card so that the people who are coming to class can see how to make the card, and then you at home can also see the card and a couple of the little tips and tricks that I'm going to be offering to them. So let's go ahead and get started. So come over here, and we're going to be starting with the Hearts of Elegance bundle. Now this is an online exclusive, and it was very, very popular for Valentine's Day. But you know what? This bundle can be used for other things as well. I love sending lots of love. I love this sentiment. Always love you, my heart belongs to you, but sending lots of love. I used to sign everything. Lots of love, Brenda. And years I did that. That was just my little tagline that I used. So I love to use this. So I'm going to be using this stamp. And I love these flowers too. Now we've got those, keep those in mind. This bundle also has dies in it, and it has hearts. And we're actually not going to use the dies that are in this bundle, but I just wanted to show you what those were. Okay? Actually, we are using some of the dies. What am I talking about? There is a die for the flower and a die for the leaves, and that's what we'll be using today, not the hearts. But we are going to use some of the shapes that are in the, this is called Meant to Be, and these are just the dies from the Meant to Be stamp set. I am not a bee person, but I love these hexagons. And I actually have last year's Valentine set, which had the bumblebee in it, and I have the bumblebee punch, but now I've got all the bumblebees. The thing to note about the bumblebees, they are not the same size as the ones in the punch. This is, I think this is what they consider the mommy bumblebee, and this is the daddy bumblebee, and the other one is the baby bumblebee, but I could be wrong about that. I saw that on a video somewhere. But anyway, I bought just the dies, which I almost never do, but I really love these hexagons, and I'm going to show you something with that, okay? And then I used some designer series paper. As soon as I saw these flowers, I said, oh my goodness, they kind of look like these flowers. Not the same, but when you put them together, they do kind of look a little bit alike. So this is from the Everyday Happiness designer series paper, and this is more like a scrapbooking paper. Here's the reverse side of this design, and then it has this lovely check design as well as some other lines. You can see that it uses the wild wheat color in there, and the reverse of this one is like a watercolor, so you can kind of see that. But what's nice about this pack of paper is that it comes with an extra sheet. So you actually get 1, 2, 3, 4 sheets of each pattern, and so that's just 6 designs instead of 12 designs, but you get more sheets in the pack. And I love that because I use a lot of paper when I'm doing my classes. So anyway, those are the products that we're going to use today. And here's the card we're going to make. So it's sending lots of love, and you can see that it uses the hexagons, and we're going to stamp and all kinds of fun stuff. So this is I just love this card when I saw it. I believe this card was done by Mary Bush is her name, and I saw it on a website, so I'll give her credit for that. Absolutely, I had to use it. So anyway, we're going to start with our pretty peacock card base. We're going to fold it in half, give it a nice crease, and then we're going to put our white piece on the inside only. Okay, so let's do that. Put the white piece on the inside only. And then we're going to set the card base aside. Okay, get it off the desk or the mat here. All right, So now we're going to work from the bottom up. So let's talk about these dies first. So when we look at the dies, it looks like it's a solid hexagon. Okay, so this is size number 2. If we're working from the inside, this is the second one. It's the one that I used for the Pretty Peacock hexagon. Okay, so I used about a 3x3 square to cut it out. But you can see when you look at it, it's actually cutting the outer edge and the inner edge, or reverse, outer edge and inner edge. And so when I cut it out of the DSP, well, this is the smaller one, take a look at what happens. On the reverse side, you've got that outline. Now you could use this outline and position it on something contrasting, or there's a lot that you could do with it, but I wanted to keep it simple for this card. So I'm going to just poke this out and save it for another time, or just throw it out, to be honest. Let's be honest. That's what I'm going to do with it. I have so many scraps of paper, I don't need another one. But you can see that I die cut it out of the Designer Series paper, and I die cut it out of the Pretty Peacock, and I'm going to then mount these together. So here we go. I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal just to put those together. You could also use the reverse side of this paper. It's pretty as well. And that makes it just a nice layered look there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and position this where I want it. I'm not gluing it down yet. And you can see you can do the point of the hexagon up at the top, or you can do it this way, and I think this is the way I wanted it. Now, I don't think there's really an up or down, but to my eyes, I guess there kind of is one. So, but I don't think technically there is. So I'm just going to kind of position that there because I want to see where I want to stamp my sentiment. And I just want to make sure I get it right. So I'm using Pretty Peacock ink. And as I mentioned, I'm using the Sending Lots of Love. Now, you, of course, can put any sentiment you want on here, and it's going to look terrific. Okay? So you want to make sure that you don't get any extra ink up at the top, because I did and I had already glued it on. So I'm giving you that tip. Don't glue it on until after you stamp. So I'm seeing where I want to put this, and I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way and just kind of come into the same area, trying to make it straight. When I try to make it straight, I'm making sure that the sending is straight, because trying to look at the script and get it straight can sometimes be confusing. But there we go, Sending Lots of Love. All right, so that is just a little tip for those of you taking class or trying to make this card on your own. You want to do that. And you can see I went a little bit higher than I intended, but hopefully you'll be better at it and you won't have a camera in your face, so it'll be a little easier for you. But I'm going to just position it right above where I put it. So yeah, I would definitely put it down a little bit further if I was doing it again, but that's okay. And now I can put this on my card front. So again, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal, nice strong adhesive, and adding it to the card front. Okay. So now that we've got that, we're going to do some little embellishments on this. So it just so happens that we have some leaves and we've got the flowers. So we're going to stamp them onto a piece of paper. And I've got lots of scrap paper at the station, so those of you who are coming for that can do that. You can use as many scraps or as big a piece or small a piece as you want. But I'm going to do some stamping off. So I'm putting a little extra piece of paper here because my glass mat will cause me a problem. So for the flower, we're going to use Lost Lagoon because it matches the colors of the flowers in the paper. And I'm just going to stamp that right on here. Okay, got that. Now when it comes to the leaf, I am using, and it's funny, I changed the color from what Mary Bush used. I'm using the Wild Wheat, and because I think it matches the color. I believe she, in her design, used gray granite, which goes with the other leaves, but I wanted to highlight and bring out the Wild Wheat. However, when I stamped the Wild Wheat, it's really dark, and that was just too dark. So what I'm advising is that you stamp it, and then you stamp it again. So we're stamping off, right? We're going to tap, 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 stamp it off there, and then stamp it on to the paper from where we're cutting it. All right, so those are the tricks there. And I'll pull that away. And now we're going to die cut these out, and we have our die cuts. So when you're lining up the die cuts, you can see that it has like little bubbles and big bubbles. And that's what I'm just calling the edges of the flower, okay? I like to, you see that there are two little bubbles, and you can find the two little bubbles on here, and you're just going to line them up. And there will be some washi tape at the table, and you can tape those down if you want to. I just winged it when I did it, but yeah, with a camera in my face, I'm not doing such a good job. Anyway, then we're going to do the same thing with the leaves. So you just want to make sure that when you stamp it, if they're really close together, you want to make sure that you cut whichever leaves are further away from the flower, and you can put it through. So again, there'll be lots of scrap paper there. Don't worry about how much you're using or not using. And when you die cut that out, through the magic of television, you end up with flower and some leaves. Okay, so now we're going to add it to the card, and what I'm going to use is one dimensional on the center, in the center of the flower, and I'm going to put that anywhere I want, but I like it kind of over here. And then I'm going to use a little bit of wet adhesive. You could use regular adhesive and a silicone mat to make sure that you don't get any extra adhesive when you're doing it, but I'm just going to slide it under since it's already lifted, sliding it under there, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side and just make sure that I'm not catching the letters. So that's the only thing you want to avoid. But you have that overlap onto the hexagon. Okay, so that's how we do that. And then finally, we want to add a little bit of bling. And I am using, these have lasted me a very long time. This is called Adhesive Back Sequins Trio. Now, the trio color is a pink. That's the third color, but we've got white and we've got this pretty peacock. So we're going to use the pretty peacock. All of my Take Your Pick tools are already at their stations waiting for people to come to do their cards. So all set up. I'm so proud of myself. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of sequins, maybe one big, two small, or two big, one small, whatever. And I'm just kind of making that visual triangle to pull the eye around the card. And there we have it. I love this card. I loved it when I saw it. I saved it, and I knew I was going to use it in a class. So thank you, Mary Bush, for that. And that is all that I had for you today. Now, I do want to mention just a couple of things from a Stampin' Up! Perspective. There are a whole bunch of new online exclusives that were released on Tuesday. So that's just yesterday. You can go and take a look at all of the fun new stuff over there. We're going to use some of that in class as well. And in other classes that I'm holding this month. So you can check out my schedule on my website. If you have any questions, you can let me know. But we're definitely going to be doing a lot of stamping in the month of March. I'm going to be in Raleigh next week, or on my way to Raleigh for the live. So next week's will be pre-recorded, and I apologize for that, but hopefully I'll have some fun things to show you, maybe my swap cards that I'll be sharing with other demonstrators. So that is all I have for today. So if you have any questions, please let me know, but thank you so much for joining. Take care. Bye now.